Coming up on Network Africa today. "8,000 people rescued by Ghanaian Navy as dams overflow, causing massive flooding." Aid convoys move from Egypt to Arish towards Rafah border towards Gaza Strip. Plus, UN peacekeepers begin sensitive pullout of camps in northern Mali. And welcome to the program. We begin in West Africa, where Ghana has deployed its Navy and other teams to rescue thousands of people affected by the spillage of excess water from some of the major dams and heavy rains there. The naval official says that more than 8,000 people have been rescued in the Volta region after heavy flooding caused by the overflow of the Akosombo and Bong hydroelectric dams. Commodore A. Kwafo also said that they are responding to distress calls as well as keeping watch on critical infrastructure. The Volta River Authority says the flooding had created a humanitarian challenge downstream in several communities in parts of the Volta region, Eastern and the Greater Accra regions. At least 12,000 people are reported to have been displaced so far by the flood. The Derna disaster in Libya has revealed severe governance deficit through several issues. This is according to the United Nations top official in the country. While briefing the Security Council from Tripoli, Abdoulaye Bathily, who is the head of the United Nations support mission in Libya, said the Derna tragedy is unprecedented in Libya's recorded history, as the human and material cost of this disaster is beyond imagination.
The Derna tragedy is unprecedented in Libya's recorded history. With the Deputy Special Representative, Resident Coordinator and Humanitarian Coordinator, and other members of UNSMIL's leadership team have visited the affected area. The human and material cost of this disaster is beyond imagination. As a result of this tragedy, thousands of lives were lost. In my visit to Derna, a few days after the storm, I saw firsthand the magnitude of the disaster and heard from families about their houses, their losses, including individuals who lost all their loved ones. The Derna disaster has revealed severe governance deficits through several issues, such as the lack of maintenance of the dam system, the management of resources, as well as the lack of an effective mechanism for disaster management and prevention. On the top of these issues, the absence of a unified political decision-making at the national level made matters more challenging. Had these governance issues been resolved at the national level, they would have mitigated the impact of the tragedy.
Let's bring you an update on the war now. South Africa's Foreign Affairs Ministry has said it has spoken to Hamas's leader in order to discuss getting humanitarian aid to Palestine. Foreign Minister Naledi Pandor on Tuesday confirmed she had a call with the Hamas chief, Ismail Haniyeh, on behalf of the South African government, adding that Hamas, rather than South Africa, had initiated the talks. In a statement released, Minister Pandor reiterated South Africa's solidarity and support for the people of Palestine and expressed sadness and regret for the loss of innocent lives both on the Palestinian side and the Israeli side. The minister's office denies report by the local media house stating she expressed support for the Hamas attack on Israel. South Africa is one of the few countries to publicly confirm it has had talks with Hamas since the war started last weekend. Egyptian aid trucks have arrived to the crossing, the only one to Gaza, which is not controlled by Israel. However, there is no agreement in place to deliver relief. The Palestinian side remains closed due to the strikes. It is still unclear when the trucks might pass through. At least 49 people have died in overnight attacks and Israel bombardment of Rafah, where the crossing is located, and the nearby town of Khan Yunis, which is Gaza's Interior Ministry's words. But some people with dual citizenship who have gathered in recent days awaiting the opening of the Rafah border crossing began approaching the border on Tuesday, but many say they were staying away due to airstrikes. After 9 hours of negotiations, United States Secretary of State Antony Blinken said early on Tuesday that he had agreed with Israel to develop a plan to get aid into Gaza.
We are here with the National Alliance for Development Action to offer help alongside the trucks carrying aid, and the convoy will transport this aid to our Palestinian brothers. We are currently at Rafah border crossing, and we are waiting for the aid to enter to our brothers.
France's Foreign Minister Catherine Colonna has called on the Israeli government to allow the humanitarian aid enter the besieged Gaza enclave. She was in the Egyptian capital meeting with her counterpart Sameh Shoukry. According to her, humanitarian aid must be allowed into Gaza because it is unacceptable to let women, men and children who are not responsible for the crimes of Hamas suffer this way. Mr. Shoukry says that Egypt is ready to deliver aid, receive third country nationals, and even allow Palestinians for medical reasons when the Israeli government opens Rafah border from the Gaza side. But earlier today, 8 trucks were seen lining up in Egypt's Al Arish city as they awaited permission to move to the Rafah border crossing. Rafah, which lies on the border between Egypt's Sinai Peninsula and Hamas-governed Gaza, is the only crossing into the territory which is not controlled by Israel. The UN stabilization mission in Mali, known as MINUSMA, has started their pullout from 2 camps in the Tensa Kidal region. The peacekeeping mission kicked off its withdrawal from Mali's northern region with the Tessalit and Agoho camps. Anticipating the UN disengagement, the Malian army landed 2 aircraft at one of the camps at the Tessalit region, which is said to have come under fire from rebels during the landing. Since August, MINUSMA also has transferred 4 camps to Malian authorities. However, analysts are saying that the withdrawal from camps in the region of Kidal could be a most sensitive one. The UN withdrawal from northern Mali was supposed to end by December the 31st after 10 years of presence there. South Sudan's President Salva Kiir says that he will host representatives of Sudanese political leaders in the capital, Juba, in a bid to end the brutal 6-month conflict. Well, the meeting is expected to take place next week, but it is still not clear those who will attend it. South Sudan's President's National Security Advisor, Tut Gatalak, says that Sudan's leaders will review the Juba peace agreement signed in 2020 between then transitional government and the rebel factions, while seeking a way to resolve the current crisis. Mr. Kiir has appealed to the military and political leaders in Sudan to end the ongoing conflict through peaceful dialogue. He spoke on Monday evening after a briefing from the Deputy Chairman of Sudan's Sovereign Council on the latest development in Sudan. The Sudanese army has been fighting its former allies, the paramilitary Rapid Support Forces, the RSF, since April. 47 more bodies have been recovered from the Congo River as search and rescue efforts continue following this weekend's boat disaster. The Transport Minister, Mark Akela, made this known while speaking for the first time in a televised press conference just 2 days after the deadly incident where a boat capsized. The boat accident was caused by overloading and sailing at night, which of course are prohibited by regulations. It had just departed from the western city of Mbandaka, moving further west deep into the DR Congo's rainforest region when the incident happened. Officials say an investigation is underway and those responsible for the capsize will be held to account. But currently, the owner of that boat, who was not on the boat at the time it capsized, and the captain are believed to be at large. The passenger manifest was not found, making it impossible at this time to know how many were on board and how many are still missing. I told you earlier about the natural disaster in Ghana. Now we have Joy News TV correspondent Maxwell Agbagba to join us for more on this story from Accra. Hello, Maxwell. It's good to see you, and thank you for joining us on Network Africa.
Good to see you too, Layo.
All right, so help us understand how the situation unfolded in Ghana.
Well, Layo, it has been raining in different parts of the country. As I speak to you, it just finished raining here in the capital. Now, authorities tell us that two dams that provide electricity to the country, mainly the Akosombo Dam, which provides more than 80% of Ghana's electricity. Currently, water inflows into the dam has exceeded its safe operating level. They tell us that they are caught between the devil and the deep blue sea, and it's important to spill the excess water that is coming in to the dam. Now, authorities say that if they do not spill this excess water that is coming in into the dam, what will happen is that it will overtop the dam and possibly affect the people downstream. So what is happening right now is the spillage of excess water, which has caused flooding in different parts of the country. I'm talking specifically about the Volta region, about the eastern region, and then in different parts of the country as we speak currently, Layo.
So what is the update on the Navy's operation at this time?
Well, the Ghana Navy has been updating the country at a press conference in the Volta region yesterday. The Ghana Navy actually said that it has been able to evacuate more than 8,000 people to safe zones and safe havens. They tell us that the military, specifically the Ghana Air Force, is also helping in the airlifting of officials to various places which are currently inaccessible by road. I'm talking about some of these flooded communities. In fact, the president was in the Volta region yesterday. He didn't go by road. He went by air. And the military, the Ghanaian military, saying that they are coordinating all of these efforts. They also engaged in rescue efforts. Persons who are trapped in their homes, they are helping to rescue them. They tell us that they've deployed expert divers on the ground to help persons who may be trapped in their homes as a result of the flooding. So a lot the Ghana military is doing in this time to bring relief to the people, Lion.
Well, Maxwell, thousands have now been rescued from all you tell us from that flood, and they've been displaced. I mean, I saw a baby there. I'm sure that baby is not even up to 6 months old. What is government's plan in helping these people get back to their homes, or at least give them aid while they're away?
The National Disaster Management Organization of Ghana is providing relief support to the people. The members of parliament for the various affected areas and communities are also mobilizing support for their people. The Association of Doctors in the country, the Ghana Medical Association, yesterday, 2 days ago, told us that they were mobilizing to the affected communities to ensure that there is no outbreak of waterborne diseases, there's no outbreak of cholera or diarrhea in these communities, because some of these communities rely on the source of water of these communities has been contaminated as a result of the flooding. So the National Disaster Management Organization is currently distributing relief support to the people. In fact, yesterday, when the president went on the ground to visit some of the affected communities, he says he will do all within his power to bring relief to the people. He also said, as a long-term support, the Finance Ministry of Ghana and the Agricultural Ministry of Ghana would also ensure they provide some long-term support for the people. Most of the people affected are farmers. Most of them have had their farmland submerged. In fact, as I speak to you right now, schools are actually not in session because some of the classrooms are submerged and some of them are being used as safe havens for the affected people.
Well, one can only imagine the sufferings of the people at the moment, but how are Ghanaians reacting to the situation?
Well, some of them are not happy with what they say is uncoordinated moves before the spillage of the water, but that has been debunked by the Volta River Authority and authorities. In fact, authorities state that they conducted a stimulation exercise as far back as May, sensitizing communities downstream and letting them know that this is what they want to do. So they tell us that a lot of education went on prior to the spillage of the excess water from the dam. So basically debunking the argument that is coming from some experts. But the experts still hold the position that there's still other ways by which the spillage could have been done to mitigate the effects that we're seeing on the people right now. In fact, the National Disaster Management Organization estimates that 26,000 people have been displaced by the floods. And the experts believe that there's a better way authorities could have gone about the spillage and not what we are witnessing now, Lion.
Maxwell, I know that in some places, this water is released maybe at least a little at a time to prevent such large disaster. But were people told to leave their homes before this happened? And what is government saying that going forward, at least another style of releasing this water will begin instead of what people are facing at the moment?
Indeed, government still holds the view. The government of Ghana and Volta River Authority and the authorities of the dam still hold the view that they did enough sensitization. In fact, some of my colleagues were at the simulation exercise that was held earlier in the year. But they admit that it doesn't matter the intensity of the education and the sensitization that was done. Definitely, there will be some people who probably did not hear about their sensitization, did not hear about the notification given by authorities, and that's why they've been caught unawares. But some of the residents who've been speaking to us also say that the water, the spillage that has been done by the authorities is too much, and it was not something that they anticipated. Although they prepared for a situation like this, what they are witnessing right now is definitely beyond them, and that's why we're seeing the devastation that has trailed the spillage from this dam that provides electricity to majority of Ghanaians.
All right, thank you very much. Joy News TV correspondent Maxwell Ababa, thanks a lot for your contribution on Network Africa. Welcome back. Guinean local media is reporting that security forces have arrested a dozen journalists who were demonstrating against alleged media censorship in the country. Among those arrested in Monday's protests is the Secretary General of the Union of Professionals of Press of Guinea, Seko Jamal Pandesa. Well, the union has called in a march in the capital, Conakry, to demand that authorities lift restrictions placed on a popular news website, Guinea Matin, and to protest against other violations of press freedom. Guinea Matin, who has reportedly been blocked in Guinea for the last 2 months. Since 2022, Guinea's ruling junta has banned protests across the country. Meanwhile, a Somali TV journalist has been killed in a suicide bombing at the restaurant in the capital, Mogadishu. Police say Abdel Fattah Marlin, alias Keys, worked for Somali cable television and died in that explosion at Blue Sky Restaurant near the Presidential Palace and National Museum. That explosion also injured 4 other people after the suicide bomber blew himself up in front of the restaurant. A local media watchdog, the Somali Journalists Syndicate, says that Keys, a staunch advocate of press freedom, faced threats before this happened. The National Union of Somali Journalists also condemned the senseless and brutal killing of the journalist. The Al-Shabaab militant group said it carried out that attack. 2 ships carrying rescued migrants have arrived in Spain's Gran Canaria. Official data shows that soaring 8,561 migrants reaching the Canary Islands over the past 2 weeks, representing more than a third of this year's total arrivals. The ships, carrying 101 migrants in total, arrived in the region at the port there, where they met by Red Cross workers. They were reportedly all in good health. Data from Spain's Interior Ministry shows that between January the 1st and October the 15th this year, the islands and the Atlantic received 23,537 migrants, which is an 80% increase from the same period last year. The archipelago's 7 islands have become the main destination for migrants from Senegal and other African countries trying to enter into Spain. Others seek to cross the Mediterranean to the Spanish mainland. And right here in Nigeria, the Lagos State Governor Babajide Sanwo-Olu has recommitted his administration's effort towards achieving food security in Lagos, providing quality and affordable food within the state. Governor Sanwo-Olu made the comment during the 2023 World Food Celebration Day. He says the ongoing development of food security systems and the Central Logistics Park in Ketu Erenyu-Ekpe is part of the current interventions by the government to ensure food produce are purchased at a designated location closer to the people. Well, according to him, Phase 1 of the logistics park will be completed next year. It will be the largest in West Africa. And in South Africa, a Nigerian festival brought the spirit of Nigeria to life, featuring exciting activities, delicious food, and electrifying live music performances. Now, those behind the event say its main goal is to celebrate African culture, promote unity among Africans, upholding the ideals of Pan-Africanism. Well, this event showcased a diverse range of artists from various backgrounds, artistic styles, not just from Nigeria, but from countries like South Africa, Cameroon, Zimbabwe, and more. Our South Africa correspondent Innocent Simosa reports.
The city of Johannesburg experienced the rich and diverse culture of Nigeria. Families and friends gathered in unity to enjoy a day filled with festivities. The Festival of Nigeria was a colorful spectacle showcasing various aspects of Nigerian culture.
This event is designed just to rebrand Nigeria, our citizens, our people, to the entire world, to tell them about our culture and what we do. Nigeria, like you all know, we are called the happy people.
Beyond that, it's even a program that will enhance social cohesion within Nigerians and South Africans, because we need to start putting forward our best foot. And we also need to start looking as individuals how we need to close the gap between Nigerians and South Africans, because there's a lot we can do in common.
The president-elect of NICASA, Reverend Frank Onyekwelu, says this will help to promote African unity.
If you look at the map of Africa, Nigeria and South Africa are positioned in a very dramatic way. If you turn the map a little bit up, it will look like a gun. That South Africa is the nozzle, Nigeria is the trigger. So there is a unison between these two.
The event featured a fantastic array of festivities, including live music performances that had the crowd dancing to Afrobeat and traditional Nigerian tunes.
And I'm really glad to be here to at least meet some of my Nigerian family.
The host nation, South Africa, also had the opportunity to learn about the Nigerian culture.
I learned that Nigerians love their food. Oh my gosh. So jollof rice. They did not want us to mention that Ghanaians have jollof rice as well. So it's a fight that you can't come in between.
Shoppers had the opportunity to explore a bustling market with an array of products from clothing to handcraft items, reminiscent of Nigeria's market.
I love Nigeria. I love Nigeria. I love Nigeria.
Well, I also love Nigeria. What a beautiful time it has been. In fact, South Africans are telling me that the Nigerian community in South Africa have demonstrated the power of cultural exchange and unity. From Johannesburg, South Africa, Innocent Samosa, Channel Television News.
Well, Innocent, we love you too. And that's it on Network Africa for today. That jollof rice will always have the best. Thank you for watching. I'm Anne Nwawode.